My name is Janet Patterson. I am a medical director in the Department of Emergency Psychiatry at St. Joseph's Healthcare, a psychiatrist, and also a director of Jump In Foundation. This webinar has been produced by one of our most passionate volunteers and is co-presented by myself and our first mentor of this new peer-to-peer program, Victoria Stelmakovich. The mission of this peer-to-peer program is to support and engage young people who are struggling with addictions using a peer support model. The role of Jump In will really be a supportive role. We're going to be working with our collaborators and community partners to provide settings for this wonderful program, which has already had a predecessor in Oakville called R4R. And also working with some young people who are skilled in this particular way of thinking about helping their peers who struggle with addictions. So our role will be supportive. We're going to provide space, assist in fundraising, assist our talented young mentors in training other mentors just like them, in reaching out to the young people in the community who have addictions. As the medical director of emergency psychiatry services at St. Joseph's Healthcare and as an inpatient psychiatrist, I have extensive professional experience with individuals struggling with mental health and addiction issues. We have an extensive treatment network in Hamilton, both through St. Joseph's Healthcare, also through some of our addiction services such as Alternatives for Youth and ADGAS. Individual employees at St. Joseph's Healthcare are committed to assisting individuals in the community struggling with addictions and offer themselves as guest speakers, as volunteers, and individual support to our program. And we will have more details on this as we build our program further. This book by Mark Lewis, The Biology of Desire, helped me understand what some of the underlying differences are. Dr. Mark Lewis goes through a compelling argument to help us understand that individuals with addiction aren't overcoming a disease. They're overcoming a difficulty that they have a choice about. And that by making that choice and commitment to themselves, they don't necessarily need a medication or a doctor or a program or anything done to them by the medical community. They need somebody who can reach out to them and help them get on their feet to develop a resilience and a passion for life that comes from within.
Now that we have renewed our understanding of addictions, I would like to describe and explain to the listeners more about our program. But before that, I would like to introduce myself. I am Victoria Stelmakovich, and I am the director of the community-based youth support group of the GIF program. My passion for empowering young people in recovery has inspired me to help increase youth voice in order to decrease stigma and ultimately bring wellness into the community. The central idea and overarching philosophy for recovery for a group like this is resiliency. Resiliency can be defined as an individual's capacity to bounce back from an adversity even stronger. Being resilient is often a challenging task, and in order to help each individual be more resilient in their life, we use Nan Henderson's Resiliency Wheel. Nan Henderson's Resiliency Wheel aims at building resiliency in the individual's environment and mitigating the risks in that environment. By increasing resiliency in an individual's environment, we help provide opportunities for that person to develop the skills necessary for them to be resilient in other areas of their life. Resiliency is implemented in the weekly peer support meetings. It is also implemented in family therapy sessions. It is implemented through community integration. And finally, we build resiliency through positive social therapy. In order to first establish the group and get the ball rolling, it's important to use different brainstorming activities, collaboration, and discussion to work through a few important steps. The steps are all meant to ultimately form the identity of this group, and the identity of this group will ultimately reflect the needs and desires of each individual member, collaboratively working together to create a group that is completely and uniquely theirs. The basic steps for doing this are, first and foremost, to establish a safe environment. Establishing the safe environment is the crucial first step because it'll allow people to feel comfortable and welcomed right away. Next, it will be important to determine the goals of the group. What is it exactly that each group member wants to achieve? And next, developing a mission statement will help understand and capture the way that and the reasons why the group wants to achieve those particular goals. And finally, it's important to develop a name and identity for the group that they will be going by in the community, and to set an agenda each week so that they can guarantee the accomplishments of their goals and to live up to their mission statement. The building blocks of the weekly agenda are guidelines and are suggestions that are most likely going to help create a resilient environment. But keeping in mind that adaptations and being flexible is always important, because it might be the case that not all youth groups will find exactly this layout helpful. So being able to adjust the weekly agenda is important. But as a template, groups might find it helpful to have introductions each week so that any new group members feel welcomed right away, and so that everyone knows each other, at least by their name. Next, it's helpful to get out of your shell and out of whatever frame of mind you are coming into and try and kick things off in a positive frame of mind. Using different warm-up activities, icebreakers, can help get people feeling more comfortable and can help create a sense of unity among one another. Next, establishing the safe environment and finding a way to make sure that everyone adheres to the rules that will help keep it safe is an important step. Of course, including some sort of recovery work and being able to help support one another is an important step. The way that this is achieved can again be totally up to the individual members of the group. Oftentimes, having a break at some point throughout the meeting is an important way to keep youth engagement, and developing some sort of time or opportunity to practice a life skill can be an important thing to include in the agenda as well. Life skills are a great way to feel more confident, increase self-esteem, and can be something that is practical for each member to take home with them and hopefully use in their own lives. And finally, having an opportunity to close the meeting on a positive note by either checking out with each individual member, sharing a story or a quote or an inspirational idea can be a great way to end off a positive group. Given that the group is meant to be a youth-directed recovery support for individuals suffering with mental health and addictions, the role of the facilitator is unique. The role of the facilitator isn't to direct the group, rather to provide the resources that are necessary for the group to achieve success in their goals. The way the facilitator might do this is to provide the opportunities for the members to direct and have ownership over their group, to support individual and group initiatives, to make sure that the environment is safe and positive, and ultimately to instill the resiliency wheel model within the group and within the facilitator's own conduct. It's important for the facilitator to be a role model and a mentor for the youth, not just an individual who is directing the group. The facilitator can mediate any sort of trouble and can provide support and resources for problem solving that the group can actually learn from and can practice on their own, and will be able to practice with the positive support from that facilitator. Providing new opportunities and being a supportive role model is crucial and can be the most exciting part as a facilitator. Bringing your own energy and being open and adaptive and excited to explore the ideas that the group members can come up with is one of the greatest takeaways of this group. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope that you contact our GIF team.